All right, there it is. Got some scuff marks on the transformer. I couldn't find a template, and that's how big to cut the chassis up. I had to improvise in doing that. Probably if I kept digging, spent more time on it, I would have been able to do it. But you know, this transformer is like $100. And I had said to you that the command radios, the command transmitters, are very misleading. You look at them and you say, "Boy, that's a nice size," and then you get it home, or you get it shipped to you, and then you realize you're going to need a power supply, and the power supply ends up being bigger than the radio. Now, I solved that problem with the command receiver, okay, but you still have to have an external speaker. You could probably put a bracket up here with a speaker on it, whatever you want. But in other words, I got this in, and I wanted to tell you about the sanders, using a grinder. Cutting aluminum on a grinder, it'll impact the wheel. I hope this is focusing. Aluminum gets stuck in the pores of the wheel. Okay. Besides the fact when you're grinding, here's another one. Okay. Besides the fact that the grit comes off, the aluminum gets impacted in it and it stops cutting as good. But it is what it is. But I want to show you the pattern I had to put on this thing. Hopefully this comes apart now. These wires are so springy and stiff. Okay, I got to go backwards now. Let me put my light on. This light has been a godsend. You know, when you get older, besides needing glasses, you're going to need. Okay, come on, you can do it. I think I can. I think I can. I've been very gentle with these wires. I think I got one cracking down here. I'll have to. What I do is I can, even when it's put together, I can run some shrink tubing down over it. This wire decided to go the wrong way. Okay. Yeah, these wires are very stiff and very springy. So after I got this all cut out, I had to go with that pattern. See those? This allows the wires to get by. All right. Normally you can get each one by in the gap between the transformer and that as you're folding up, but no, I had to go with this modification. And it's very hard if you want to be neat and lay out a round hole or half of a hole or a quarter of a hole. After you've laid out and cut, you lost your area to swing an arc. What I use is this is a template from my mechanical drawing days. That's why I was able to design CNC machines and do all the drawings and the booklets and everything, is because I had 3 or 4 years, I forget how many years, of mechanical drawing, and it was one of the subjects I was really good at. And someone mentioned today about me using Microsoft Paint. I can draw in a CAD program, but in Microsoft Paint, I used to be able to do illustrations. And what happened recently is when Windows updated, it wiped out all my 8-bit programs. I had an old program that would allow you to run MS Paint on Windows 7, and it worked flawlessly. They even took 2 of the flaws out of the program. When you did a cut and paste, it used to screw up sometimes. It was a rock solid program. Well, when Windows 10 updated it, it wiped that program out. It wiped out about 20 or 30 programs that I had on the computer that I used all the time. So I don't have my famous, I started with T-Paint and then it became Microsoft Paint. Maybe the same company, I don't know, but I did a lot of drawings, and I got this where I want it, and then this will go in. Right now I'm waiting for the octal sockets, and because I don't know how big they are, you know, laying out, but I did get the hole for the transformer, and I think this transformer is used. Remember I told you this windings here were twisted together like that. And the other thing is this comes with nuts and washers, and they're not here. So unless they expect you to take that hardware off the transformer that you're replacing. That might be it. This is a replacement. When you buy a transformer like this years ago, it came in a box with one of these drawings. You know, it shows you the windings. Okay, but there also used to be a template piece of paper, and that was to lay out your chassis and to cut it out so it would just drop right in there. Getting these 4 holes correct, you know, having this coating on here, like what do I call it, the contact paper, that made getting real accuracy, okay, to lay everything out, even doing these. And this was done with the Dremel. You know, and this isn't chip out, this is just a lost, you have to take the contact paper off. But this is one of the better holes I've cut out in a while. It takes a lot of patience. You gotta want it, okay? That's why when I see people on the conferences making stuff so simple, oh, all you gotta do is this, all you got, yeah. It's so simple when you've never done it, okay? And that's why I get people really aggravated. I say stuff about ham operators and how they get a license, but then they think they know how the radio works. It's like getting a driver's license and suddenly you know how the motor and transmission work. It's the same thing. And you do have people with car licenses that do know how to fix the car and how it works. But ham radio, the egos are really big. You know, what you do is if you have low self-esteem or a small pecker, you get like a 1,000-watt transmitter. Same with the CB guys. They go right for the cookie box, the linear amp, you know, something lacking in their life. And like I tell you, my whole life is building stuff. This is how I hide from the real world. And I do get involved with the real world, but when the real world starts getting me tired out, I retreat back to my workshop and I build something. And I'll build the wackiest stuff. And someone will say, what use do you have for that? I just want to see it work. You know, so it doesn't bother some people that they don't understand how anything works. Okay? I was raised, you try to fix something. And my dad, he could be very annoying. He would take an old hard washer, a rubber washer, for a faucet, the wrong size, put it on his lathe in the cellar, cut it down so it would fit the washer in the kitchen. And then it would only last a month or so because it should have been thrown out. It was a brand new washer, but it dried out in the package. And then as I got older, I'd go up to the store, and it cost more to drive the car up there and back than it did for the package of washers. But my father had a real strange way of operating. He didn't like to buy anything, and if he had to buy something, he had to go through my mother. He had to ask my mother for the money, and then she'd give him a hard time. She didn't understand what he was doing or anything. And one time I started getting on her. She kept changing the kitchen sink. She had a fetish for the kitchen sinks. A shallow white, a deep white, a shallow stainless steel, a deep stainless steel, a brown shallow, and a deep brown. And then that would go downstairs to whenever the sink would get moved from a new one into the kitchen one had to go down into the cellar. And my father would always work with the old plumbing. And then finally I went up there and I said, if you don't give him the money, I'm going to go buy the stuff. And I did. I went out to the store and brought back new plumbing fixtures. And my dad put the shut-off valves in backwards. And he kept telling me it doesn't matter. There's an arrow on the valve. And I said to him, that arrow's on there for it. He was doubling down on it. I said, when you go to shut this water off, it's not going to have the pressure behind the seal to make it seal. And sure enough, a couple months later, the Delta faucet used to get, what would you call, minerals in it, and it wouldn't go off. And he went under the sink and turned the valves off, and they didn't shut off. And I was just sitting there smiling, laughing at him. And then he would always say to me, you think you're smarter than everybody else. And I never would say anything back. The real thing, but not everybody else, just you. And I'd never do that to my dad because he was an easygoing guy. But he didn't know how to say he made a mistake. And I'll tell you right now, somehow I bought the wrong size box. And this is going to be really annoying, okay? And it is what it is at this point. But this is one big, heavy, honking transformer, okay? And this transmitter will put out anywhere between 50 and 75 watts, all right? What I should have built was the scrounger It's an article in an old magazine. It shows you how to scrounge the parts up to make a transmitter. But I wanted the transmitter to match the command radio receiver. But I didn't realize they're two different sizes. They go on two different racks. If I had realized that the transmitter wasn't really the same size as the receiver, I would have never bought it. Okay? But, you know, you start saying, well, I'll just buy the transmitter and rebuild it. I know how transmitters work, you know. And then I buy it, and then it comes in without the roller inductor. Then I had to buy another one. That one was all mildewed and scuzzed up from being in somebody's cellar for 70 years or whatever it is. But just wanted to show you, you know, these boxes come with this coating. The metal is thinner. And if I had gone bigger, I don't know. I don't know what would have happened. It's fairly sturdy. But if I was to drop this with this transformer, this thing would totally, like an automobile accident. Okay? So I got to be very careful. Even working with it, I'm trying not to break any of these wires. It's not being kind to me at all. And what I'm going to do today, right now, is I'm going to take a break and clean up. And then, well, I'm going to shoot to the dollar store, clean up, and then I have to remove these nuts. Actually, I can put this in here one more time and get some ideas. But I think what I really should do is wait for the octal sockets and then figure out where I'm going to put stuff. Because I only got a little bit of room. And then I can seal some room next to the transformer, I believe, on the walls. And we'll see. I might have to make some specialty brackets, you know. But I'm working through this. And this is, you know, like I said, 8 pounds of crap in a 5 pound, 8 pounds of crap in a 5 pound box. Okay. And I think that's it. All right. That's it.